According to a 2015 Northwestern University study, research shows that Black, Asian, and Latino students in primarily white schools often doubt their intellectual abilities and feel as if they were celebrated outsiders within their own schools. In response to these feelings of isolation and doubt, organizations such as the Black Student Union, the Asian Student Union, and the Latino Student Union began to form. So that poses a question. What is a Black Student Union? At its most basic, a BSU is a community of learners, of leaders, dreamers, friends, thinkers, speakers, and even food eaters. All of these people are united for the common purpose of emphasizing Black excellence, informing about Black history, and building a more equitable future. We believe that through these past years, we've been able to make the Black Student Union here at Suncoast an amazing Black Student Union. We hope that through this presentation, we're able to inspire schools around the district in order to form Black student unions of their own. To do this, we're going to give you some insight onto how we started as an organization with a commentary by Dr. Jermaine Scott, who was one of our founding members, and then show the natural evolution of his ideas into the current day Black student union that we have at Suncoast Community High School.
My name is Jermaine Scott, and I'm an alumni of Suncoast Community High School, the class of 2009. It was during this year that myself, Rajel Teese, Sophia Farkason, Zakia Markland, and a group of other seniors got together to demand that Suncoast offer an African American history elective to all of its students, because up until that time, no such elective was being offered. So with the help of Dr. Deborah Robinson and a number of other community organizers and activists, we were able to secure a meeting with the former superintendent, Art Johnson, and at that meeting, we expressed our grievances and explained to the school board why it was important for students, Black and white, to learn the truth about African American history and culture. Well, after a number of different meetings, Suncoast and the school board both agreed that African American history would be offered as an elective the following year. And as far as I'm concerned, the elective is still being offered. Well, during the campaign, we also created the Black Student Union, which was sponsored by Dr. Briscoe. And the BSU really became a great space for Black students to fellowship together, bounce intellectual ideas off of each other, and discuss current events related to Black people. In 2009, for example, the biggest current event was, of course, the election of America's first Black president, Barack Obama. And so the BSU became a space where we could understand the significance of that moment. One thing I hope the BSU continues to do is to embrace the spirit of student activism. Right? Black students have always been on the forefront from the late 1960s when they demanded more Black courses and Black faculty to the contemporary moment, right, with the legacy of these Black student unions. And if it was not for student activism, right, there would be no African American history elective at Suncoast, right? And if it was not for student activism, there would be no BSU at Suncoast. So I encourage every BSU to continue that spirit of student activism, to make your voices heard, get into good trouble, and continue to struggle in solidarity.
Kramer. I'm a graduating senior from Suncoast Community High School.
My name is Aaron Airy, and I'm co-president of the Black Student Union at the Suncoast Community High School chapter. This year, we reached out and united all backgrounds of Suncoast and reflected viewpoints through our insightful meetings and our discussions. From collaborating with Hands Across Campus and on-campus organization, we were able to give African Americans a voice in the issues they face in the real world and highlight their successes.
We've communicated with each other and helped with planning and organization of all the events that we've completed. And some that stick out to me would be our Students Standing with Black Lives Matter event or our Black Excellence Past, Present, and Future event.
To our informative events such as the Black Lives Matter movement, where we explain the motive behind the movement and how we united other worlds, the Black Excellence Seminar, where we gain insight African American folks, how they thrive throughout all the obstacles they face. We were able to strengthen several Black voices and overcome all obstacles related to COVID-19. We were also able to start 2 mentorship programs called Big Brother, Big Sister, and I Can, I Will with the elementary students, where we raise young African American kids to shining stars.
The only way that these events were made possible were due to the hard work of our sponsor, Mr. Walker, and our hardworking, like-minded individuals that make up the e-board and our organization as a whole. I'm glad that we've worked to improve the culture of our school and educate our student body.
For the future, I hope to bring strength in numbers and unity within BSU of the district, as well as impacting the community.
If you've listened closely, one of the most prominent things that they talked about in their presentation was the events that we've had. The events are a staple of BSU. They're a way for our members to connect with each other, educate the student population, and also enjoy their time here at Suncoast. Here are some of our members to talk about their experiences in the BSU.
Being in BSU this year has taught me a lot about being a part of a community that loves and appreciates you. When you come into a BSU meeting, you log into the meet, you can just feel the love. There's always someone there to greet you. Mr. Walker's always greeting you. And when you achieve something, BSU always makes an announcement on their classroom page or give you a shout out during the meets on Friday, and you can just feel the love. And I am so thankful and grateful that I got to experience that, and I'm looking forward to next year and being a part of that and just being a part of a community that loves you. It just really helps you grow and flourish, and I'm so thankful that I could experience that.
I've had a lot of benefits with BSU this year. They've helped me in so many ways. I've got to volunteer with them in the library, and overall it made me feel like a better person with the things I did. We made gift baskets for Christmas and made cards for Valentine's. I've noticed the change in some of the students' hearts from like the beginning of the year to now, if they've been a part of the club throughout the entire year. ESU to me is like my way to give back to my own community, because like this year I've done my best to stay involved, help whenever I can, and volunteer with them, obviously, in the library. And honestly, I think it's one of the things that helped me shape myself at Suncoast.
What BSU has meant to me this year is basically a community of people who you can relate to. This year, as an incoming freshman, it is very difficult to find friends sometimes, especially coming back from pandemic. And with BSU, you have unlimited amount of friends that can relate to you on so many levels. Not only is everybody very much educated in the topic of BSU, but they are also educated academically.
When other people think about like BSU, their favorite part is the cookouts and like getting food from them, from like buying a ticket. They find the food really good, and I agree.
So basically, as a leader of equity, racial equity in Suncoast, called the T4E, Teachers for Equity, and also just very passionate about bringing in equitable learning experiences for our students, I feel that BSU does an amazing job of promoting validation, inclusion, and empowerment. And to me personally, self-advocacy is one area that I think as students get more validated and sense of inclusion increases, they get more empowered to promote self-advocacy. And I think that itself makes them more communicative and helps them engage in learning. In the blue Post-its, I have what some of my students have said about how that happens. And I know Mr. Walker promotes the sense of excellence in everything you do, in everything the students do. So in that way, they're also striving to be excellent in their, in their classes. So that's one area. The other area is I do feel that it creates a sense of awareness and sense of community and friendship. Sense of community, because if people are being able to come together and relate and hear, I think that's really important also, that they don't feel like they're alone, and that's part of your social emotional learning and being aspect that's been taken care of. Students have said it creates a safe haven for them. They've said they get a sense of celebration of their own culture and race, and also growing as a leader because of all the various activities that they have done this past year. So in that way, I believe that it helps to serve the needs of not just the self, but in the end of the community and even the world. They get to see themselves, because I know that Mr. Walker also promotes a lot of discussion on global issues and in terms of local issues, and just kind of getting multiple perspectives on them. So that gives them also a sense of how they fit in with the world and how they can serve. Again, the blues are our student words, so they have shared with me that they get multiple perspectives and global, local perspectives, and this can be a source of change. And also, because of multiple perspectives, they found themselves becoming more adaptive, more tolerant, more flexible, and I think those are also very important. Creating a sense of tolerance is really, really important. Finally, I just want to connect it to IB profile learner characteristics. I think through all of this, we are also, as an IB school, promoting a more caring, open-minded, principled, and communicative community, as we allow our students to have that space where they can feel who they are and be who they are and grow in their own capacities.
The Black Student Union's presence has been very apparent. Alive and well. I actually know who the sponsor is. I know several of the students who are leaders within the organization. I can rattle off to you about some of the things and initiatives that they've done. So that means that they've actually put the work in this year. And it's been a lot of things, a very diverse listing of events and initiatives. They've worked with a neighboring elementary school. They've put together a fantastic Black History Month celebration, which was actually enlightening even to me as an adult. I learned a lot when I watched the presentation. So it was really nice to see the kids take ownership and promote their mission. So that's been pretty cool. So I hope that these things continue, because man, what a great, I don't know if it's a rejuvenation, but it's been awesome to watch this organization blossom this year.
The Black Student Union has been an organization at Suncoast for as long as I can remember, and I've been here since '97, so I'm not sure exactly when they started, but I have very fond memories of their step routines, the poetry that they wrote and performed at heritage assemblies. I've been in charge of that for a long time, but even before I was in charge of it, they were involved in the heritage assembly. And seeing them practice their dances and the step routines in the courtyard and at the old school, I love the cultural heritage they have brought to the school. And not only that, but the group has given our students yet another venue for having a voice in the school. And not just being part of a club, but being part of an organization who actually walks the walk that they talk. And for instance, this past year when we did Standing with Black Lives Matter, that was an amazing task that they took on and did very well with the help of Mr. Walker. Also bringing Brian Knowles from the district office in to speak, that was excellent, and I hope that things like that continue. And I think that over the years they have just gotten to be a more cohesive unit and are now seeing that there are things that they can do to bring things to Suncoast that haven't been here always.
And I've seen the benefits of helping these students to be able to identify with who they are. I'm happy that they have somewhere that they can feel recognized and they can learn about who they are, learn about their history, and be very proud of their heritage.
That last section went out to the teachers. I hope it was very informative of BSU's potential impact on the school community. Another thing that we do here at BSU is encourage and advocate for discussion. If you've been following the news recently, you would know that we had a lot to talk about. And that's probably why it's a big favorite among many of our members. Here's Kareem and Alex to talk about what they enjoy most about our discussions.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I became a member of BSU this past year. Personally, for me, I believe that I've grown as a person since joining BSU. I would have to say that my favorite part of BSU were the discussions that we would have. I saw myself learning and being open to learning more about different things happening in my own community, and ended up having different discussions with people outside of BSU about the topics that we would discuss in it. And I did enjoy how everyone could have their own opinion on different topics. It wasn't a place where everyone had to agree. And because of those discussions, we were able to see different perspectives.
Like sometimes you'll come into a meeting and you'll feel this way about a topic and you'll be really strong on it and no one can change your mind. Then you'll leave the meeting, have heard everyone's opinions about it, and you're like, oh, well, maybe it's not 100% what I thought in the first place. And I love that we just get to come through and learn from each other about it. And I feel like that's very important.
We really help our members and anyone else who wants to participate really have a sense of community. Our arms are open to all who want to share and express their thoughts and ideas and how they feel.
We completely advocate for making discussion an integral part of your Black Student Union. Another way to make your Black Student Union amazing is to make sure that it's bigger than itself. What I mean by that is, sure, you want your BSU to be a force inside of the campus, but you also want it to be a big force outside of the campus, in your local community. Like we said before, our goal is to secure a more equitable future for all. And we can only get that by elevating those in the community around us. One of the ways that our BSU had an impact on the local community was through our mentorship programs. One program, I Can, I Will, led by Tessie Lusant, Damaris Wiley, and Grace Castillion, was able to teach kids in UB Kenzie Elementary the meaning of confidence, creativity, helpfulness, and service through poems and fun activities. Here are some of the kids from UB Kenzie Elementary to tell us about their experiences with the program.
My favorite thing about ICIW is that they do not tolerate bullying and that the counselors are really funny and nice.
Thank you, ICIW, for everything that you're doing for us. I love the fun activities, you helping raise our self-esteem, helping us become leaders, and helping us become more considerate of others. Thank you, Suncoast.
Thank you for the love and support. Thank you for teaching me how to be creative and teaching me how to work together with others as a team. I love the creativity you brought to the projects and the group. I also enjoyed the inspiring quotes you shared with us each week.
So we've told you all the benefits of having a great Black Student Union. But I know by now you probably have questions. Like, how do you get started? How do you do all of this? How do you plan events? How do you get good members? Well, Dr. Briscoe, our first ever sponsor for BSU, attributes much of its early success to having motivated members.
When I first started teaching at Suncoast High School about 16 years ago, there was a group of students who approached me about meeting in my classroom at lunchtime. I didn't have my own classroom, it was shared, but the other teacher was perfectly fine. They ate in the faculty room. And so the students came in at lunchtime and I just kind of let them talk, and I noticed right away that they were some very serious students, and they were very much concerned about how they felt they had been treated by some faculty and also administration just in the course of their educational day. And they really felt strongly that something needed to be done. And so they arranged to meet with the principal. The principal did, listen to their concerns, but really was not all that receptive to doing anything relative to addressing their concerns. The students then made an appointment to meet with the superintendent, and the superintendent was very receptive and did listen with intent to what their concerns were, but did not really have much in terms of practical remedies for their problems. The students then decided that they were going to organize a march, and they did this on their own. And they got the appropriate permits from the city of Riviera Beach. They wanted to have it in Riviera Beach. They were going to be marching down Blue Heron Boulevard, and this was kind of a big deal. And so they had the support of community leaders, residents of the community, students from across the school district who came to support them and make known what their concerns were. As students who wanted to have a pleasant high school experience and do what they needed to do in terms of their educations, but really feeling like high school should be an experience to remember and one that should be enjoyable. And from their perspective at that time, that was not happening.
As a teacher, even if you don't see students as motivated as the ones who founded our BSU, I promise you, if you give us a platform, you will be surprised by how motivated we are. Here's Mr. Walker to talk about the roles of a supervisor in BSU.
As the sponsor of a high school organization, I was typically involved in 100% of the activities at varying levels. The key, though, I believe, was that I empowered the students to really serve and move as leaders. From there, we bounced ideas off of each other and negotiated where necessary during our weekly executive board or e-board officer meetings to make it all happen.
As you've heard, we have an e-board, which is an executive board of officers who plan and oversee the direction of the BSU. Here's Justin Ricketts, Mr. Walker, and Aaron Kramer to give some tips on how we structure our organization.
The members of any organization are instrumental to the vitality of the organization. For us, that meant ensuring that we selected the strongest possible student candidates to serve in officer positions, meeting on a weekly basis to discuss our goals and plans, instituting different committees within the organization to help us effectively meet those goals, being open to feedback, and meeting on a consistent weekly basis to engage with our membership.
Foremost, I'd like to stress the importance of teamwork, as having a team that will distribute the workload amongst each other and always try their best is very important, and it's been a huge factor to our success this past year and the past years.
I really recommend for 1 year situating your board of officers in a way so that you guys can all equally divide the work that you be doing as an organization, because it can be a lot. And make sure that everything you're doing is done to its best while no one's being overloaded, and that really comes down to that separation of work and making sure that everyone's pulling their weight. I think a major part of our success this year was really ensuring that all parts of BSU and all of our committees were all working towards a goal at any point in the year. And overall, as an organization, we were all united in being a major force on campus. Just a little tip, I think that time management is super important. And what we do, especially in myself as an activities coordinator, and getting everything done really for BSU, so that it's done and done well to where no one's stressing out the night before an event. So manage your time carefully, make a calendar. I think BSU is a really important force on campus, and I can't wait to see more BSUs throughout the county. I was this year's BSU Co-Activities Coordinator, which basically means I helped plan out most of the major events we held on campus. This year we had a lot of events such as the Afrocentric Blowout, which was a really big showcase of Black and African culture. A lot of what BSU does is related to events, and so I really recommend making this position a partnership and not a solo position when you're situating your board of officers.
In this video, we gave you a lot of information about the inner workings and the benefits of BSU. I know it's a lot to take in, so here are some of the main points that you should take away from this video if you're trying to create an amazing BSU in your school. From this video, here are some traits of a good BSU. A good BSU provides marginalized students a community to connect and empathize with. A good BSU educates about important Black history. A good BSU gives its members chances to discuss important topics. A good BSU allows its members to impact the local and school communities. So from this video, how do you start a good BSU? Well, it's important that you find a willing supervisor. A supervisor is going to play a role in all club activities, so they should be really motivated for the cause. It's important that you have an executive board of members to help plan the direction of the organization. It's also just as important to have committees to focus on specific club goals, such as a service committee or even an events committee. Please plan out events in advance to make sure that your events can be as amazing as possible.